Today on the Carolina Storyteller, we're going to be talking about the cryptids from the 50th and 49th state. That's right, Hawaii and Alaska. So get ready. This is the Carolina Storyteller.
The dark woods where shadows creep, stories rise as the campfire reaps. Jonathan voice a haunting thrill, with every tale he bends on will. Echoes whisper, the night draws near. By the firelight of fierce collide, the Carolina Storyteller our guide. Through the smoky, the fervent fight, fables of darkness igniting the night of the night.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the Carolina Storyteller. I am your storyteller, Jonathan Phoenix. It's great to have you guys here with us. We are kind of a little late on getting this episode out. I apologize. We had a pretty rough week last week with all of the snow here in South Carolina, which, if you know anything about South Carolina, you know South Carolina can't handle no snow. It just, we don't do that. Okay. That's for them people up north. Once it gets down here, we don't know how to work things. But we are able to get this episode out just a couple of days late. Well, day late, and $1 short. Sorry about that. But anyway, I want to remind everybody they can support the show by going to patreon.com/ The Carolina Storyteller. That's patreon.com/ The Carolina Storyteller. And also, this Friday, well, this Friday at midnight, Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles, episode 3 drops. I think it's going to be the best episode yet. I think you guys are going to love it. So be ready for that. Now let's get on with the show. As I said in the stinger, this show we're going to be visiting the two furthest states from me, Alaska and Hawaii. Both of them separate from the lower 48, as it's called, and the last two states to actually gain their statehood. We're going to start in Hawaii with a legend that goes back thousands of years, and that is the legend of the Menehune. And I apologize if I mispronounced that. I've heard like 17 different pronunciations of that word. But let's talk about what the Menehune are. The Menehune are the legendary little people. The story goes that if you were to ever be wondering about the whispers that you hear in the woods, or the feet print that appear on the sands in the morning and are gone by the first tide, it is the markings left behind of the Menehune. Menehune were the little people who lived deep in the forest. They were tricksters and pranksters, but they were also builders. They were the first inhabitants of Hawaii, and they were unique in that they would only build at night and only build when no one was around. They would create these intricate and amazing stone structures that still stand today by legend. These ruins are still there, created by the Menehune in the middle of the night when no one else could see. Now, here's where the legend gets a little wishy-washy with the Menehune, because Menehune are a legend, supposedly. They have the ability to, sneak in and out. There's whispers in the forest. Um, they're supposedly mythical creatures. But the Menehune were actually on the very first census back in the 1860s for Hawaii. There were 65 Menehune who were on that census, which means that the Menehune, even though they had been there for, I think, 300 BC, still existed all the way up until 1865. It is believed that the Menehune traveled there and reached Hawaii first. They settled it, and they had their culture. Their culture believed in a very community-esque culture. They were very fun-loving. They ate bananas and fish, mainly. They were intricate builders, but they only built at night, and they built as a community in silence. Like, they would come up with the idea what they were going to do, and they wouldn't do it until the night. And so you'd walk past a spot during the day, there'd be nothing there, and then at night the Menehune would come and they would build these intricate stone structures, ponds and buildings, and uh, like farming. I don't know what you call it, farming plots. Like you build a stone and you put your garden or something there. I don't know what you call that. They would build these things in the middle of the night when no one was around and no one would see it done. So it seemed like magic because it was just their culture. And I mean, perhaps they built at night just because it's cooler at night. Cooler winds coming off of the ocean, a lot easier to work when there's no heat and not that sun beating down on you. Let's face it, it's Hawaii. I guarantee you, if the moon was out, you had all the light you needed. Because that island was probably getting bright, bright, bright moonlight in the middle of the night. So these guys, um, they eventually just vanished or disappeared, or they've slunk deep into the forest where they live in secret and do their Menehune things at night. There are a lot of questions as to what happened to the Menehune. The most likely answer to that is that the Menehune eventually kind of just intermingled and evolved into the Hawaiian people, and they kind of became all of one people. And just like everywhere else, as time goes on, the culture might not erode, but the original people kind of do because of the intermingling of literally um, who we are. We are different people, different races coming from everywhere, and as we come together, we kind of create something new by coming together. And I don't want to get into the specifics of that. We don't want to talk birds and the bees, but basically that's what I'm talking about here. They were probably, genetically born out, is my guess. That would be my guess. But the Menehune is still an amazing part of Hawaiian culture, and it is, still by legend believed today that if you upset the lands, the Menehune will make you pay for it. If you are suffering from some kind of minor annoyance, it's probably the Menehune messing with you. Um, and if you're not welcome, the Menehune will really make your life a living hell. So remember that when you visit the great state of Hawaii, when you're there enjoying the beaches, um, don't mess around because the Menehune could still be there and they could decide to just make your life a living hell if you damage the beauty that is Hawaii. Now we're going from the beautiful tropic paradise that is Hawaii, and we're going to go to the great white north of Alaska, the frozen tundra, and we're going to talk about uh, this guy right here. Let me see if I can share a picture for you so you guys can see who I'm talking about. We're going to be talking about the Alaskan Inuit legend, the Tizerhuk. Take a look at this guy right here. I mean, don't you just want to cuddle him? Doesn't he just look so warm and friendly? This is the Tizerhuk. This is the Inuit legendary sea serpent. He is said to live in the waters around Key Island, Alaska, primarily, but it is believed that he can travel the entire coast and lakes of Alaska, which is weird because they're not all connected. So, how is he getting from lake to ocean? I don't know. This guy has a 7 foot long head, a body that has flippers on its side, and then his tail is estimated to be between 17 and 15 foot. So, he's a pretty big fella. Um, the Tizeruk isn't just a sea serpent. He has shape-shifting powers. See, the Tizeruk likes to feed on large fish and well, seals and whatever else it can get through the ice. And so the Tizeruk will even at times snatch people off of piers. It is believed that you don't go out onto the pier at night because the Tizeruk will snatch you into the water and take you down into the depths and I guess eat you down there. But sometimes, things don't go near the water. So what does the Tizeruk do? Oh, the Tizeruk has a special ability. The Tizeruk can shapeshift, and it is said that the Tizeruk has at times taken the form of an Inuit female and lured people to the water with its mesmerizing and captivating voice. drawing them in. The Tizerhuk would sing until they got close enough, and then the female would, of course, disappear, and the Tizerhuk would jump up out of the water and eat them because that's what a giant sea serpent does. Um, this guy has been around for hundreds of years. It's an ancient Inuit legend, and it is still said today that he has been sighted in the waters near Alaska. So, for our second story today, we're just going to talk about don't go to Alaska and don't mess with the Tizerhuk because he's going to eat you, or at least he might eat you. It's really sad that I don't have any actual stories of encounters with this guy. I didn't have any stories with the Menehune either, but their legends are still they're dripping inside of the history of these far distant places that are part of our nation and they're part of this world. Um, Hawaii's Menehune, who have just been, you know, a part of their history for centuries. And for the longest time, everybody was like, "Oh, it's a legend, it's a legend." But then when you look at the census back in 1865, well, the legend appears to be true. There's paperwork that say the Menehune were there, and if the Menehune were there, does that mean that they actually made those buildings? And then the Tizeruk has been an Inuit legend for hundreds of thousands of years. They have spoken about this. You got to think when this was a land bridge between the U.S. and Russia, when they came across, it is believed that the Tizeruk picked so many of them off and drug them down into the water and devoured them in the depths of the water. And yet this legend still stands true. And it is the state cryptid of it is the most well-known cryptid of Alaska. Hence the reason why we're talking about it, because he's going to be in the National Cryptid Championship on Not Just Paranormal a little bit later. Anyway, folks, that was it for our stories for today. I hope that you enjoyed them. I hope that you were educated and entertained. I don't know what two I'm going to do next. I do think that I'm going to be touching on an old story very soon. I keep backing off of it, but I really think I'm going to have to, mainly because I've been meaning to revisit it, but also because I feel like it's relevant to today's world. So anyway, this has been the Carolina Storyteller. I am your storyteller, Jonathan Phoenix. I want to thank you all for being here. Remember, you can go to patreon.com/Carolina Storyteller and support this show, Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles, and Not Just Paranormal. So you get a three for just one Patreon. And also, you can head over to our merch shop. You can get Carolina Storyteller merchandise. You can get Valmont merchandise. You can get the Not Just Paranormal merchandise. Support the shows and, look cool while doing it. I'm the Carolina Storyteller. Thank you for being here and stay spooky, my friends. We'll see you next time.